Mr. Anderson, if you were an officer, your rank would be Captain Photocopy. Can you even read a logistics manual? SEAL Admiral Marcus Donovan, 2 stars, 30 years in combat, throws that line into the military courtroom at Naval Base San Diego. The room erupts. JAG officers laugh. Lieutenant Foster, the prosecutor, laughs loudest. Even the court reporter smirks. Breonna Anderson, 42 years old, sits at the defendant's table. Gray blazer, hair pulled back tight. No rank, no badge. The admin secretary everyone on this base treats as invisible. Today, she stands accused of forging transfer documents, causing a weapons shipment worth millions to vanish from the system. The prosecution paints her as greedy, simple, bought off by arms dealers, a scapegoat. Admiral Donovan was invited to emphasize the severity. He expects this hearing to wrap in an hour. He expects her to cry, to beg. He expects wrong. Breonna does not cry. She looks straight at him. Her voice comes slow, clear, cold as winter water. Higher than yours, sir. You just don't know it yet. The laughter dies for one beat. Then it doubles. Foster slams his hand on the table. You think you're what? A special agent? A secret general? The room laughs like watching a comedy show. But Master Chief Petty Officer Raymond Garrett, 56 years old, 32 years in service, does not laugh. He sits in the advisory row, staring at Breonna's hands, the way she places her palms flat on her thighs, the way her right index finger has a faint callus, the kind that only appears after thousands of hours marking tactical maps with grease pencils, the way she breathes steady, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out. That is not how a secretary breathes. He says nothing, but he opens his notepad and writes one line. Check her service record, all of it. The hearing continues. Foster stands, straightens his uniform. He reads the charges like reading a verdict already decided. Article 132, fraud against the United States, unauthorized transfer of military property, potential violations of Article 106 Alpha, espionage. Breonna sits still. Her hands do not shake. Her jaw does not tighten. Foster walks to the projection screen. He clicks a remote. The screen fills with evidence. Login records. Username B. Anderson. IP address traced to her desk computer in the logistics office. Digital signature on transfer forms. Timestamps matching the exact hours the weapons shipment left the system. He turns to face her. Miss Anderson, this is your username, correct? Yes. This is your workstation IP address? Yes. This is your digital signature on 16 separate transfer authorizations? Yes. He pauses, lets the silence settle. Then you admit you authorized the transfer of 40 M4 rifles, 22 M9 pistols, 12 tactical radios, and 4 advanced targeting systems to an unauthorized location? I admit my credentials were used. Foster smiles. Not the warm kind. Your credentials. As if someone stole them? Breonna does not answer. Foster looks at the panel of officers sitting as judges. 3 captains, 1 commander, all men who have never worked logistics. Miss Anderson has been employed as an administrative secretary in the Pacific Fleet Logistics Office for 6 years. She processes paperwork, she makes coffee, she has no tactical training, no clearance beyond basic confidential. And yet, somehow, she wants us to believe someone with higher authority used her account to steal millions in weapons. He lets the question hang. One of the captains leans forward. Miss Anderson, do you have any evidence to support this claim? Breonna meets his eyes. I request access to the chain of custody logs. Both layers. Unclassified and classified. Foster cuts in fast. You do not have clearance for classified logs. Breonna's voice stays level. Naval Supply. Logistics Instruction 4.7.2 states that any defendant in a fraud investigation has the right to review custody documentation relevant to their case, including dual-layer logs. The room goes quiet. Foster blinks. Even Admiral Donovan sits up straighter. Garrett writes another note. She knows Navisuplaginst by number, not summary, exact code. The presiding captain clears his throat. We will take that under advisement. Continue, Lieutenant Foster. Foster recovers. He clicks to the next slide. Financial records. A bank account under Breonna's name. 3 deposits over the last 6 months. $5,000, $8,000, $12,000, all from offshore accounts linked to shell companies. He turns to her. Care to explain these? I do not control that account. But it is in your name? Yes. And these deposits appeared exactly 1 week after each weapon's transfer? Yes. Foster spreads his hands. Your Honor, the evidence is overwhelming. Motive, opportunity, digital fingerprints, financial gain. This is not a complex case. This is a civil servant who thought she could make easy money and got caught. Admiral Donovan stands. If I may, he does not wait for permission. I have been in naval special warfare for 3 decades. I have seen leaks, I have seen corruption, but I have never seen someone this sloppy. He looks at Brianna with something close to pity. Miss Anderson, if you were running an actual espionage operation, you would not leave your name on every document. You would not deposit money into your own account. Either you are the dumbest criminal I have ever met, or you are lying about being smart enough to get away with it. The room laughs again, quieter this time, more cruel. Brianna does not flinch. She breathes. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. Garrett watches her chest rise and fall with perfect rhythm. He has seen that breathing pattern before, in combat medics under fire, in EOD techs defusing bombs, in special operators waiting for the green light. He writes another note. She is using tactical breathing. Why would a secretary know tactical breathing? The presiding captain looks at the clock on the wall. It is 09:45. We will recess until 1300 hours. Miss Anderson, you are remanded to the holding area. Do not leave this building. He bangs the gavel once. Foster gathers his papers. He glances at Dylan Chase, a petty officer 2nd class who works IT security. Dylan is 26, thin, nervous. He carried the laptop that displayed all the evidence. Foster leans close. Keep an eye on her. If she tries to access any terminals, I want to know. Dylan nods. Yes, sir. As Brianna stands, 2 security personnel approach. One is a young seaman, barely 20. The other is older, a petty officer 1st class with a hard face. They do not touch her, but they walk close. One in front, one behind. She moves toward the side door. The room empties slowly. Officers file out, talking in low voices. Some glance at her, some shake their heads. Garrett stays seated. He watches her walk, balanced. Weight on the balls of her feet, no wasted motion. He stands and walks to Special Agent Carla Brooks, an NCIS investigator sitting in the back row. She is 38, sharp-eyed, wearing a navy blazer and slacks. Brooks, you saw that? Brooks nods. I saw. She is either the worst spy in history or something else is happening here. Garrett hands her his notepad. Check her record. Something is wrong. Brooks reads the notes. She looks up. You think she is not just a secretary? I think a secretary does not know combat breathing. I think a secretary does not cite logistics instructions by exact number. I think a secretary does not stay that calm when facing 20 years in prison. Brooks takes the notepad. I will make some calls. Garrett looks toward the side door. Brianna is gone. He feels something he has not felt in years. The kind of unease that saved his life in Fallujah, in Helmand, in places with no names. The kind that says someone here is not what they seem. Now, here is where most people watching this would feel anger. Maybe you have been underestimated because you did not wear the right uniform, because you did not have rank on your collar. If you believe that kind of contempt needs to be corrected, hit like and leave a comment sharing your story. Do not skip ahead. This is just the beginning. The holding area is a small room off the main corridor. Concrete walls, fluorescent lights, 1 metal table, 2 chairs, a camera in the corner with a blinking red light. Brianna sits, hands on the table, flat, still. The door opens. Foster enters, followed by Dylan. Foster carries a tablet. Dylan carries a laptop and a fingerprint scanner. Foster sits across from her. Dylan stands near the door, awkward. Miss Anderson, we need to verify your identity for the record. She nods. Foster slides the tablet across the table. Full name, date of birth, social security number. She picks up the stylus. Writes, Brianna Catherine Anderson, born April 14th, 1983. Social 927481536. Foster checks the screen. He nods. Now fingerprints. Dylan brings the scanner over. His hands shake a little. He sets it on the table. Right hand first, ma'am. Brianna places her hand on the glass. The scanner beeps. Green light. Dylan checks the laptop. Match confirmed. Left hand, she switches. Another beep, another match. Dylan glances at the screen. His eyes narrow. He looks at Brianna, then back at the screen. Foster notices. Problem? Dylan hesitates. No, sir. Just... The file is loading slow. Foster grunts. Network is always garbage in this building. He stands. You are not to leave this room until the hearing resumes at 1300. Understood? Understood. Foster leaves. Dylan lingers. He looks at the laptop screen again. His face goes pale. Brianna watches him. You saw something. Dylan swallows. I do not. He closes the laptop fast. I need to go. He leaves. The door locks behind him. Brianna leans back in the chair. She closes her eyes. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. Outside, in the corridor, Dylan walks fast. His heart pounds. He saw something on that screen. Something that should not be there. When he scanned her fingerprints, the system pulled her full record. Not just the basic admin file Foster has been using, the deep one, the one with flags and classifications. And for just 2 seconds, before the file encrypted itself and locked him out, he saw words that made no sense for a secretary. Commander, Naval Special Warfare, Clearance Level Tango Sierra, Sierra Charlie India, Status Active, Assignment Classified. Then the screen went blank. Access denied. Contact NCIS for authorization. Dylan stops in the hallway. He leans against the wall. His hands still shake. Someone is lying. Either the system is wrong, or everyone in that courtroom just made a terrible mistake. He pulls out his phone, texts his supervisor. Need to talk. Urgent. Then he deletes it. What if his supervisor is part of this? What if asking questions gets him in trouble? He puts the phone away, walks toward the IT control room. Maybe he can pull the file again. Maybe he misread, but he knows he did not. The morning drags. Officers come and go. Some head to the cafeteria, some to their offices. The JAG building hums with routine. In the IT control room, Dylan sits at his workstation. 3 monitors glow in front of him. He opens the personnel database. Types Brianna Anderson. The basic file appears. Admin Secretary. GS7 pay grade. Started 6 years ago. Clean record. No disciplinary issues. He tries to access the deeper files, the ones that appeared for 2 seconds during the fingerprint scan. Access denied. Authorization required. Contact Naval Criminal Investigative Service. He stares at the screen. Why would a secretary's file require NCIS authorization? His supervisor, Chief Petty Officer Ramirez, walks over. Chase, you good? Dylan minimizes the window. Yes, Chief. Just running routine checks. Ramirez squints at him. You look like you saw a ghost. Dylan forces a smile. Long morning. Ramirez nods. Yeah, that trial is a mess. He lowers his voice. Between you and me, I think they got her dead to rights. Who forges transfer docs and leaves their own name on everything? Dylan does not answer. Ramirez claps his shoulder. Anyway, Foster wants the evidence files backed up before the afternoon session. Make sure nothing corrupts. Will do, Chief. Ramirez leaves. Dylan opens the file again. Access denied. He leans back. Thinks. If he pushes too hard, he will trigger alerts. If he does nothing, a woman who might be innocent goes to prison. Or she might be exactly what Foster says. A thief. A traitor. But that file, Commander, Naval Special Warfare, that is not something you fake. He decides. He will wait. Watch. If something else strange happens, he will go to someone he trusts. Maybe Master Chief Garrett, the old guy who never laughs at the wrong things. Across the building, in a small office on the 2nd floor, Carla Brooks sits at her desk. She holds Garrett's notepad in one hand, her phone in the other. She dials a number. It rings 3 times. NCIS Headquarters, Special Agent Tomlinson. Brooks here, Pacific Fleet. I need a personnel deep pull. Authorization code Bravo Kilo 793. Stand by. Keyboard clicks on the other end. Name and DOB, Anderson, Brianna Catherine, April 14, 83. More clicks. Longer this time. Tomlinson comes back on. Ma'am, that file is restricted. You need O6 approval or higher. Brooks sits up. Restricted? She is an admin secretary in logistics. Silence. Then Tomlinson speaks carefully. Ma'am, I cannot confirm or deny details without proper authorization. But if you are calling about this individual, I recommend you contact JSOC Liaison immediately. JSOC? Brooks feels her pulse quicken. Joint Special Operations Command does not get involved in admin fraud cases. Tomlinson's voice drops. Ma'am, I have said all I can. Contact JSOC. They will know what to do. The line goes dead. Brooks sets the phone down, stares at it. JSOC. Naval Special Warfare. Restricted file. She picks up Garrett's notepad again, reads his observations. Combat breathing. Tactical calluses. Exact regulation codes. She stands, grabs her jacket, walks fast toward the courtroom wing. She needs to find Garrett. Now. The cafeteria is half full. Officers in khaki uniforms sit at the tables, eating lunch. The smell of coffee and fried food hangs in the air. Foster sits with 3 other JAG officers, all lieutenants. They laugh, talking loud. One of them, Lieutenant Chen, grins. So, Captain Photocopy, huh? Donovan does not hold back. Foster shakes his head. The woman is delusional. She actually quoted a supply instruction like that would save her. Another lieutenant, Patel, leans in. You think she really did it alone? Or someone put her up to it? Foster shrugs. Does it matter? The evidence is there. Username, IP. Signature, money. He takes a bite of his sandwich. She either did it, or she was stupid enough to let someone use her credentials. Either way, she is guilty. Chen pulls out his phone. Check this out. He shows the screen. A group chat, 23 members, all JAG officers and legal clerks. The messages scroll. Chen. Granny Fraud just got escorted to holding. Think she will cry? LT Harris. Captain Photocopy reporting for duty. Patel. How do you steal millions and leave your name on everything? Unknown. Maybe she thought nobody checks logistics. LT Reyes. I check logistics. That's how we caught her, lol. Foster grins. You guys are brutal. Chen shrugs. She is a traitor. She deserves worse than jokes. Foster's phone buzzes. A new message in the same chat. Someone posted a meme. Brianna's courtroom photo, badly edited with the caption, Secretary of Betrayal. He laughs, shares it. None of them notice Master Chief Garrett sitting 3 tables away. He watches them, says nothing. His jaw tightens. He finishes his coffee, stands, walks out. In the hallway, he finds Brooks. She grabs his arm. Garrett, I made the call. Her file is restricted. JSOC level. Garrett's eyes narrow. JSOC does not protect admin staff. Exactly. Brooks glances around. No one nearby. Whoever she is not what they think. Then why is she sitting in that room letting them charge her? Brooks shakes her head. I do not know, but if we push too hard, we might blow whatever operation she is running. Or she goes to prison for something she did not do. Brooks hesitates. We need more time. The afternoon session starts at 1300. That gives us 3 hours. Garrett checks his watch. 12:15. Not enough. Then we better move fast. They split up. Garrett heads toward the IT control room. Brooks heads toward the holding area. Brianna sits in the same position. Hands on the table, eyes closed, breathing steady. The door opens. Brooks enters. She holds a tablet and a badge. Miss Anderson, I am Special Agent Carla Brooks, NCIS. I need to ask you some questions. Brianna opens her eyes. Off the record or on? Brooks blinks. That is an interesting first question. You are NCIS. You do not ask friendly questions. Brooks sits down, sets the tablet on the table. Fair. She taps the screen. Your file came back restricted. That does not happen for admin staff. Brianna says nothing. Brooks leans forward. I also spoke to a colleague at headquarters. He told me to contact JSOC. Now, I have been doing this job for 12 years, and JSOC does not get involved in logistics fraud. So, either there is a mistake, or you are something more than what you appear. Brianna's voice stays calm. If my file is restricted, you already know I cannot answer that. Brooks nods slowly. So, you are not denying it. I am not confirming it. Brooks sits back, studies her. You are letting them destroy you in there. Foster is building a case that will put you away for 20 years. Donovan called you Captain Photocopy in front of the entire court. Your face is in a group chat being mocked by officers who think you are a traitor. And you sit here like you are waiting for a bus. Brianna meets her eyes. Sometimes the best way to catch a rat is to let it think the trap is empty. Brooks feels a chill. You are bait. Brianna does not answer. Brooks taps her fingers on the table. If you are running an operation, I need to know. Because if Foster pushes this to court-martial, it goes on the record, public, permanent. Then I hope your investigation moves faster than his. Brooks stands. She looks at the camera in the corner, wonders who else is watching. Miss Anderson, if you are who I think you are playing a dangerous game. Brianna's voice stays soft. Agent Brooks, I have been playing this game longer than you have been with NCIS. Trust the process. Brooks leaves. The door locks. Brianna opens her eyes fully, looks at the camera. She knows someone is watching. Someone always is. And somewhere in this building, the person who stole those weapons is starting to sweat. In the IT control room, Dylan pulls up the server logs. He is looking for something, anything that explains what he saw. Garrett walks in. Chase. Dylan jumps. Master Chief, can I help you? Garrett closes the door. You scanned Brianna Anderson's fingerprints this morning. What did you see? Dylan's face goes white. Nothing, Master Chief. Just a routine scan. Garrett steps closer. His voice is low, steady. Son, I have been in the Navy for 32 years. I know when someone is lying. You saw something that scared you. Now either you tell me or I go to your chief and we pull the logs together. Your choice. Dylan swallows. His hands shake. He looks at the door, then back at Garrett. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Her file. It flagged. Commander, Naval Special Warfare, clearance level Tango Sierra, Sierra Charlie India. Then it locked me out. Told me to contact NCIS. Garrett does not move. Does Foster know? I do not think so. The file locked before he saw. Garrett nods slowly. Good. Keep it that way. Master Chief, what is going on? Is she really a commander? Garrett looks at the young man, sees the fear, the confusion. You did not see anything, Chase, understand? But you did not see anything. Garrett's voice hardens. If you care about doing the right thing, you will keep your mouth shut until someone with more stars than Foster tells you otherwise. Dylan nods fast. Yes, Master Chief. Garrett leaves. Dylan sits at his desk, stares at the screen. His hands still shake. He opens the server logs, starts digging. If she is a commander running undercover, someone in this building is the target, and if he is right, that someone has access to everything. He filters the logs by user access to the procurement system. Looks for patterns, late-night logins, unusual locations, repeated access to files that should not be opened often. 3 names come up, all officers, all with clearance high enough to authorize transfers. One of them is Admiral Donovan. Dylan's stomach drops. He looks at the access times. 0300 hours, 0430, 0215. All times when the building is nearly empty. He cross-references with the dates of the weapons transfers. 4 exact matches. Holy cow. He sits back. His heart pounds. If Donovan is involved, then this is not a simple fraud case. This is something much bigger. And if Foster does not know, he is about to send an innocent woman to prison while the real criminal walks free. Dylan grabs his phone, texts Garrett, "Need to meet, now." "I found something." 30 seconds later, Garrett replies, "Server room, 5 minutes." Dylan closes the laptop, grabs a flash drive, copies the logs. He is about to walk out when his supervisor, Chief Ramirez, appears in the doorway. "Chase, where are you going?" Dylan freezes. Server room. Routine maintenance." Ramirez looks at the flash drive in Dylan's hand. "What is on that?" "Backup files, for the trial." Ramirez steps closer. His voice drops. "You look nervous, Chase. Everything okay?" Dylan forces a smile. "Yes, Chief. Just a long day." Ramirez studies him, then nods. "All right. But if something is wrong, you come to me first. Got it?" "Got it, Chief." Ramirez leaves. Dylan exhales, walks fast toward the server room. He does not see Ramirez pull out his phone and send a text. Chase is digging. Might be a problem. The server room is cold. Rows of black towers hum. Cables run across the ceiling like veins. Garrett is already there. Brooks is with him. Dylan hands over the flash drive. "You need to see this." Brooks plugs it into her tablet. The logs appear. She scrolls, stops. Looks at Garrett, Donovan. He accessed the procurement system 14 times in the last 6 months. All at night. All matching the transfer dates. Garrett's jaw tightens. "That son of a..." Brooks holds up a hand. "We need more. Access logs alone are not enough. He could claim he was doing routine checks." Dylan points to another file. I also pulled financial records, not Brianna's, Donovan's. He has 3 offshore accounts. Deposits totaling $1.2 million over the same period. Brooks looks up. Where did you get financial records? That requires a warrant. Dylan's face goes red. I may have exceeded my access level. Garrett almost smiles. Good. Brooks shakes her head. This is not admissible in court, but it gives us a direction. She looks at Garrett. We need to bring this to someone higher than Foster. Someone who can stop the trial before it goes too far. Garrett nods. Colonel Wu, DOD Inspector General. He is on base today for another case. Brooks checks her watch. 12:45. We have 15 minutes before the hearing resumes. They move fast. But as they leave the server room, none of them notice the camera in the corner, the one with a blinking red light. And in a small office 2 floors up, Admiral Donovan watches the live feed. His face is stone. He picks up his phone, makes a call. We have a problem. The afternoon session begins at 1300 hours sharp. The courtroom fills again. Officers take their seats. Foster arranges his notes. Dylan sits in the back, pale. Brianna is brought in by the same 2 security personnel. She sits, hands flat on the table. Admiral Donovan enters last. He sits in the front row, arms crossed. His face shows nothing. The presiding captain bangs his gavel. This hearing will now resume. Lieutenant Foster, you may continue. Foster stands. Your Honor, the prosecution rests. The evidence is clear. We request immediate recommendation for court-martial. The captain looks at Brianna. Miss Anderson, do you have anything to say before we deliberate? Brianna looks at Foster, then at Donovan, then at the captain. I request a system audit. Full access logs for all personnel with procurement clearance, including flag officers. The room goes silent. Donovan's face does not change, but his hand tightens on the armrest. Foster recovers fast. Your Honor, this is a stalling tactic. Miss Anderson has no authority to request audits of senior officers. Brianna's voice stays level. Secnovinst 5210.1, paragraph 6, subsection Delta. Any defendant in a fraud case involving military property has the right to request third-party system audits to verify chain of custody. The captain blinks. He looks at his notes, then at Foster. Is that accurate? Foster flips through his manual. His face reddens. That instruction applies to contractor fraud, not... It applies to any fraud case involving government property. Brianna cuts him off, including weapons, including logistics, including this case. The captain looks at Foster. Lieutenant? Foster's hands shake. He does not answer. The captain sighs. We will take a 30-minute recess. I want JAG legal review to confirm this regulation. If Miss Anderson is correct, we will discuss how to proceed. He bangs the gavel. Donovan stands, walks out fast. Foster gathers his papers, face burning. Brianna sits, hands on the table, breathing steady. Garrett watches from the advisory row. He catches her eye for 1 second. She nods, just a fraction. He understands. She is ready. The trap is set. Now all they need is for the rat to run. And somewhere in this building, systems designed to handle secure logistics operations quietly begin processing a very dangerous request. Many modern military units rely on ruggedized tablets built for harsh environments. These shock-resistant devices with military-grade encryption ensure that even under extreme pressure, critical data remains secure and accessible when missions depend on it. The recess stretches. Officers murmur in the hallways. Dylan sits in the IT room, hands shaking. Brooks and Garrett yell, "Wait outside Colonel Wu's office." Donovan makes another call, this one longer, and Brianna sits alone in the holding room, eyes closed, breathing steady. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. She knows what comes next. The lockdown, the panic, the moment when everyone realizes the building is not as secure as they thought. She just has to wait a little longer. At 13:30 hours, the gavel bangs again. The captain looks at Foster. The regulation is confirmed. Miss Anderson has the right to request a system audit. Foster stands. Your Honor, with respect, conducting a full audit could take weeks. This hearing cannot be delayed indefinitely. The captain nods. Agreed. However, we can authorize a limited preliminary audit. Logs from the past 6 months. Access records for all personnel with procurement authority. He looks at Dylan. Petty Officer Chase, you are IT security. Can this be done today? Dylan stands. His voice cracks. Yes, sir. It will take approximately 2 hours. The captain nods. Then we will reconvene at 15:30 hours. He bangs the gavel. This hearing is in recess pending system audit results. The room empties. Donovan walks fast toward the exit. Brooks intercepts him in the hallway. Admiral Donovan. A moment. Donovan stops. His face is hard. Agent Brooks, what can I do for you? I have some questions about your access to the procurement system. Donovan's eyes narrow. My access? I am a flag officer. I have clearance for every system on this base. Of course, sir. Just routine follow-up. She smiles. Can you confirm the last time you accessed the system? Donovan's jaw tightens. I access it regularly. I do not keep a log of every login. Of course not. Brooks pulls out her tablet. I am sure the system logs will clarify. Donovan stares at her, then at Garrett standing behind her. He leans close. His voice drops. Agent Brooks, I suggest you be very careful about where you point your investigation. There are forces at play here you do not understand. Brooks does not blink. Is that a threat, sir? Donovan straightens. It is advice, from someone who has been in this fight longer than you have been alive. He walks away. Garrett steps beside Brooks. He knows. Brooks nods, and now he is going to run. They move fast, but they do not know that Donovan is not running. He is locking down. At 1400 hours, alarms blare, red lights flash in every hallway, a voice over the PA system. Attention all personnel. Security protocol. Tango Romeo is now in effect. All exits are sealed. No one enters or leaves this building until further notice. This is not a drill. Officers freeze. Some pull out phones. Others run toward exits. The main doors are locked. Magnetic seals engaged. Guards posted. In the holding room, Brianna opens her eyes. Right on time. Right on time. The PA system crackles again. All personnel report to your assigned stations. Security teams secure all server rooms and classified areas. This facility is now under lockdown protocol, Tango Romeo until further notice. In the IT control room, Dylan stares at his monitors. Red alerts flash across every screen. Someone is accessing the system, not from inside the building, from outside. Chief Ramirez runs in. Chase, what the heck is happening? Dylan's fingers fly across the keyboard. Someone is pulling data from the legacy logistics system, the one we decommissioned 3 years ago. Ramirez leans over his shoulder. That system is air-gapped. It cannot be accessed remotely. Dylan points at the screen. Then explain that. An account with root access is copying procurement records, transfer logs, classified shipping routes, everything. Ramirez goes pale. Can you trace it? Dylan types faster. The IP is bouncing through 7 proxies, but the access credentials are local. Someone inside this building gave them the keys. Who? Dylan pulls up the account information. His hands freeze. The screen shows a username he recognizes. Ghost Harbor Alpha 7. That is not a real account. That is a legacy program identifier, one that should not exist anymore. Ramirez grabs his radio. Security, this is IT control. We have an active breach. Someone is inside our network with administrator access. Initiate full system lockdown now. The lights in the hallway switch to red emergency mode. Magnetic locks engage on every door. The building seals tight. In the holding room, Brooks enters. She looks at Brianna. You knew this would happen. Brianna stands, opens her eyes fully. I knew someone would panic when the audit started. Panic makes people sloppy. Brooks pulls out her tablet. The system is being hacked right now, from outside, using credentials that should not exist. Brianna steps closer, not from outside, from inside. The external access is a decoy. The real breach is happening 3 floors above us. Server room 2. Someone is physically plugged into the backup system, copying files before the audit can find them. Brooks stares. How do you know that? Because I designed the system. I know every back door, every fail-safe, and I know exactly how someone would try to cover their tracks. Brianna's voice hardens. We need to get to that server room, now. Brooks hesitates. You are still technically a defendant. I cannot just let you walk around. Brianna meets her eyes. Agent Brooks, in approximately 4 minutes, whoever is in that server room will finish copying the files and wipe the evidence. If you want to catch them, we move now. Brooks makes a decision. She unlocks the door. Let us go. They move fast through red-lit hallways. Officers stand confused at locked doors. Some try their key cards. Nothing works. Garrett meets them at the stairwell. Brooks filled me in. He hands Brianna a radio. You will need this. Brianna clips it to her belt. They move fast up the stairwell. Red emergency lights cast shadows on concrete walls. Brianna leads. Brooks behind her. Garrett at the rear. Second floor. Third floor. They push through the door into the hallway. And Foster is there, standing in the middle of the corridor. Face red. Tablet in hand. He sees Brianna. His eyes widen. Commander Anderson? He says it like a question, like he heard something but cannot believe it. Brooks steps forward. Lieutenant, move aside. We have an active breach. Foster does not move. He stares at Brianna. You, he points at her. You were sitting in that cell. They said you were nobody, just a secretary. Brianna's voice is calm. Step aside, Lieutenant. But Foster is not listening. His mind is breaking. Everything he thought he knew is cracking. He grabs Brianna's arm, pulls her forward. His other hand reaches for her shoulder. Who are you? Tell me the truth. Are you really? He yanks her blazer, hard. The fabric pulls tight across her shoulder. Then tears. The sleeve rips halfway down her left arm. Time slows. The blazer hangs open. Her left forearm is exposed, and there, just below the elbow, is a scar. Long, jagged. The kind shrapnel leaves when it buries itself in flesh and has to be cut out in a field hospital. And below the scar, on her inner forearm, a tattoo. Small, faded, black ink gone gray with time. A trident, an anchor, the number 7. Foster lets go, steps back. His face goes white. Garrett moves closer. He stares at the tattoo. His breath catches. He has seen that insignia before, 20 years ago, on the arm of a logistics chief who kept a SEAL team alive for 6 months in Ramadi. The old-school Nisabla logistics units used to mark themselves, before the Navy banned unit tattoos, before everything went sterile and corporate. That symbol meant one thing. You kept the warriors fed, armed, moving. You were the line between mission success and body bags. Garrett's voice is barely a whisper. That is SEAL Team logistics, old school, before they changed the insignia. Brooks looks at Brianna, then at the tattoo, then back at Brianna's face. Brianna pulls her blazer closed. Her voice does not change. Are we done here, Lieutenant? Foster cannot speak. He nods. Brianna looks at Garrett. Master Chief, we are running out of time. Garrett shakes himself out of the shock. Yes, ma'am. He looks at Foster. You did not see this. Understand? Foster nods again. Faster. Brooks grabs Foster's shoulder. Go back to the courtroom. Wait there. Do not say a word to anyone. Foster turns, walks away, fast, almost running. Brianna adjusts her blazer, clips it with her hand to keep the torn sleeve in place. Looks at Brooks and Garrett. Let us move. They continue down the hallway. But everything has shifted. Garrett walks differently now, not beside her, half a step behind. The way a senior enlisted walks near an officer. Brooks glances at Brianna's covered arm, then at her face. Sees something she did not see before. This woman is not playing a role. She is remembering one. They continue down the hallway, but everything has shifted. Garrett walks differently now, not beside her, half a step behind. The way a senior enlisted walks near an officer. Brooks glances at Brianna's covered arm, then at her face. Sees something she did not see before. This woman is not playing a role. She is remembering one. The server room is at the end of a long corridor. 2 guards stand outside. One is the young seaman from earlier. The other is Petty Officer First Class Miller, the hard-faced one. Miller steps forward. Ma'am, this area is restricted. Lockdown protocols. Brooks shows her badge. NCIS. We have credible intelligence of an active breach in this room. Miller does not move. I have orders. No one enters without Admiral Donovan's authorization. Garrett's voice cuts through. Son, I am Master Chief Petty Officer Garrett. I have been in this Navy longer than you have been alive. That room is being compromised right now. You can either step aside or explain to a court-martial why you helped a traitor. Miller's jaw tightens, but he steps aside. Brooks opens the door. The server room is dark except for the glow of monitors. Rows of towers hum, and at the far end, someone crouches beside an open panel, a laptop connected by cable, files streaming across the screen. The figure turns. It is Chief Ramirez. Dylan's supervisor. His face goes white. He reaches for the cable to yank it out. Freeze. Brooks draws her sidearm. Step away from the system. Hands where I can see them. Ramirez stands slowly. Hands up. His voice shakes. You do not understand. I was ordered to secure the backups. This is protocol. Brooks does not lower her weapon. Protocol does not involve copying classified files to an external drive during a lockdown. On the floor. Now. Ramirez drops to his knees, hands behind his head. Garrett moves past him, disconnects the laptop carefully. He looks at the screen. His face hardens. He is copying transfer logs, financial records, communication intercepts, everything that would implicate someone higher up. Brooks cuffs Ramirez. Who ordered you to do this? Ramirez does not answer. Brianna steps forward. She looks at the laptop, then at Ramirez. You have been on Ironclad Solutions payroll for 2 years. $12,000 a month. Deposited into an account under your wife's maiden name. Ramirez's face crumbles. How do you know that? Because I have been watching you for 6 months. You and everyone else in this network. Brianna crouches to his level. Her voice is calm, cold. You were the tech support, the one who set up the ghost accounts. The one who helped Admiral Donovan and his friends move weapons off the books and into private hands. You thought you were untouchable because you stayed in the background. Ramirez starts crying. I have 3 kids, college tuition, medical bills. They offered me money. I did not ask questions. Brianna stands. You did not ask questions when those weapons ended up in Syria, when a SEAL convoy got ambushed because someone sold their route to the enemy. 3 men died. One of them had 4 kids. Ramirez sobs. Brooks hauls him to his feet. Chief Petty Officer Ramirez, you are under arrest for conspiracy, unauthorized access to classified systems, and aiding in the transfer of military property. She looks at Miller. Take him to the brig. Miller and the young seaman drag Ramirez out. Garrett picks up the laptop. We need to get this to Dylan. He can trace every file Ramirez accessed, every person he sent data to. Brianna nods. And we need to move fast, because Donovan knows we are closing in. He will try to run. Brooks checks her radio. All units, locate Admiral Donovan. Detain for questioning. Do not let him leave the building. Static. Then a voice. Ma'am, Admiral Donovan left the building 12 minutes ago. He used emergency override code on the main exit. Said he had urgent business at JSOC headquarters. Brooks curses under her breath. He is running. Brianna's voice stays calm. He is not running. He is calling in favors, trying to get someone higher to shut down the investigation before we finish. Garrett looks at her. Can he do that? Brianna almost smiles. Not if the people I called get here first. Brooks stares. The people you called? Brianna walks toward the door. You will see. They move back downstairs. The lockdown is still active. Officers crowd the hallways, confused, frustrated. Some demand answers. Security personnel try to keep order. Foster appears, face red. What is going on? Why is the building locked down? I have a hearing to finish. Brooks ignores him, keeps moving. Foster grabs her arm. Agent Brooks, I am the lead prosecutor in a federal fraud case. I demand to know. Brianna turns, looks at him. Lieutenant Foster, in approximately 10 minutes, this entire case is going to be overturned. I suggest you start thinking about how you are going to explain to your superiors why you charged the wrong person. Foster's mouth opens. Nothing comes out. They reach the courtroom. The presiding captain is there, along with the other panel officers, all looking confused and angry. Captain, what is the meaning of this lockdown? We have a hearing to conclude. Brooks steps forward. Sir, with respect, this hearing is no longer about Miss Anderson. We have evidence of a larger conspiracy involving flag officers and civilian contractors. The lockdown is for security purposes while we secure that evidence. The captain's face darkens. Flag officers? Agent Brooks, you better have solid proof before making accusations like that. The main doors burst open. Not the courtroom doors. The building entrance. 3 figures walk in. 2 men, 1 woman, all in uniform. Vice Admiral Helen Cortez. 3 stars on her collar. Her face is hard, weathered, the kind that comes from decades at sea and in war rooms. She walks with the confidence of someone who has commanded fleets. Beside her, Captain Mark Reeves, NCIS Director for Pacific Fleet. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing service khakis and a sidearm, and Colonel James Wu, DoD Inspector General, older, Asian American, with wire-rimmed glasses and a briefcase that probably contains enough evidence to end careers. The room goes silent. Every officer stands, reflexive, instinctive. Cortez stops in the center of the courtroom. Her voice carries like a ship's horn. "Where is Commander Anderson?" Brianna steps forward. "Here, ma'am." Cortez walks to her, stops 3 feet away. Then she salutes, sharp, crisp, the kind of salute that carries weight. "Commander Anderson." "Welcome back, ma'am." The room explodes, not with noise, with silence. The kind of silence that feels like the air was sucked out. Foster drops his tablet. It hits the floor with a crack. Dylan, standing in the back, stares with his mouth open. The presiding captain looks like he was hit with a brick. Captain Reeves and Colonel Wu step forward. Both salute. Reeves speaks. "Commander, it is good to see you again." Wu nods. "Your operation has been cleared by the Inspector General's office. Full authority restored." Cortez turns to face the room. Her voice cuts through the shock. "For those of you who do not know, Commander Brianna Anderson served 18 years in Naval Special Warfare Logistics. She designed the entire supply chain system for DevGru and SEAL Team operations from 2008 to 2016. She held top-secret sensitive compartmented information clearance, plus Special Access Program authority. She has personally coordinated logistics for operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, and classified locations I am not authorized to name." She pauses, lets it sink in. In 2016, Commander Anderson was forced into early retirement following an internal investigation. That investigation was later found to be based on falsified evidence, planted by individuals seeking to remove her from a position where she could detect their corruption. The charges were quietly dropped. Her record was sealed. Foster tries to speak. "But ma'am, why did she—" Cortez's gaze could cut steel. 2 years ago, NCIS and JSOC approached Commander Anderson with a proposition. Go back undercover. Work as a low-level admin in the logistics office. Use her knowledge of the system to identify leaks, to find the people selling our weapons, to stop the kind of corruption that gets our people killed. She looks at Brianna. The commander agreed. She gave up her rank, her reputation, her identity. She let people mock her, insult her, treat her like she was invisible, all so she could do her job. Brooks steps forward. "Ma'am, we have evidence that Admiral Donovan is involved. He accessed the procurement system 14 times in 6 months, always at night, always during transfer windows. We also found financial records linking him to Ironclad Solutions, a private military contractor." Cortez nods. "We know. Commander Anderson has been feeding us intelligence for 18 months. Donovan is not the only one." She looks at Wu. "Colonel?" Wu opens his briefcase, pulls out a folder. "Based on Commander Anderson's intelligence and the evidence gathered by Agent Brooks and Master Chief Garrett, we have identified 8 officers involved in this network. 3 commanders, 2 lieutenant commanders, 3 lieutenants. Additionally, 4 civilian contractors employed by Ironclad Solutions, and 2 individuals with connections to lobbying firms that have been pushing for increased procurement budgets." He sets the folder on the table. All of them are being detained as we speak. He pauses, opens the folder, reads from the summary page. The 3 commanders will face court-martial for conspiracy and fraud against the United States. Trials are scheduled within 90 days. The 2 lieutenant commanders are under investigation for procurement violations and making false official statements. The 3 lieutenants have been stripped of security clearances and are pending administrative separation. All 8 will face formal charges under the Uniform Code of Military Justice within 30 days. He looks up. The 4 civilian contractors from Ironclad Solutions are in federal custody. Charges include conspiracy to defraud the United States and illegal arms trafficking. Their trials will proceed in civilian court. The 2 individuals connected to lobbying firms are under FBI investigation. One has already resigned from his position. The other is facing congressional ethics inquiries. Foster finally finds his voice. But the evidence. Her username, her signature, the money in her account. Brianna speaks. Her voice is steady. "I left my signature on those documents intentionally. I used my own account. I let the money get deposited. Because I needed whoever was running this network to think I was a perfect scapegoat. Someone they could frame, someone they could throw to the wolves while they walked away clean. She steps toward Foster. You did exactly what they wanted, Lieutenant. You built a case against me. You made me look guilty. And while you were focused on me, I was documenting every transaction, every access log, every communication. I was the bait. And they took it. Foster's face goes from red to white. I did not know. Brianna's voice softens. Just a fraction. I know. That is why you are standing here and not in handcuffs. But you need to learn something, Lieutenant. Never assume the person in front of you is what they appear to be, especially in this line of work. The presiding captain stands. His voice shakes. Commander Anderson, on behalf of this panel, I owe you an apology. We should have questioned the evidence more carefully. Brianna nods. Apology accepted, sir. You were working with the information you had. Cortez looks around the room. Now, where is Admiral Donovan? Brooks speaks. He left the building 12 minutes ago, used emergency override, said he was heading to JSOC headquarters. Cortez pulls out her phone, makes a call. This is Vice Admiral Cortez. I need a security team to intercept Rear Admiral Marcus Donovan. Last known heading toward Route 5. Consider him a flight risk. Detained for questioning under Inspector General authority. She listens. Good. Keep me updated. She hangs up. They will have him in 15 minutes. Reeves steps forward. Commander, we also recovered a burner phone from Admiral Donovan's office. Forensics is pulling the data now. But preliminary review shows encrypted communications with an individual using the call sign Anchor 7. Messages reference next shipment and Route Tango 9. Brianna nods. Anchor 7 is the broker. The one connecting dirty officers with buyers. We have been trying to identify them for 2 years. This phone might finally give us the link. Wu adjusts his glasses. Commander, you have done exceptional work. However, this investigation is far from over. Ironclad Solutions has contracts with multiple branches. If Donovan was selling to them, others might be as well. Cortez looks at Brianna. Which is why we would like you to return to active duty. Full rank restored. Assignment at JSOC headquarters. You would coordinate investigations across all branches. Root out the rest of this network. The room waits. Brianna is silent for a moment. Then she shakes her head. With respect, ma'am, I decline. Cortez raises an eyebrow. May I ask why? Because Anchor 7 is still out there. And they know I am coming now. If I move to JSOC, I lose my cover. I lose my access to the local network. Brianna's voice hardens. I have spent 2 years building this case. I am not walking away until it is finished. Cortez studies her. Then she nods slowly. Understood. You will remain in your current assignment, but you will have full NCIS and IG support. Whatever you need. Thank you, ma'am. Cortez turns to the panel. This hearing is concluded. All charges against Commander Anderson are dismissed with prejudice. She looks at Foster. Lieutenant, you will provide full cooperation with the ongoing investigation. Any evidence you compiled will be turned over to NCIS immediately. Foster nods weakly. Yes, ma'am. Cortez walks toward the exit. Reeves and Wu follow. She pauses at the door, looks back at Brianna. Commander, I meant what I said. Welcome back. We never forgot what you did for us. Brianna salutes. Thank you, ma'am. They leave. The room exhales. Officers sit down slowly. Some look at Brianna like seeing her for the first time. Others avoid her eyes. Garrett walks to her, salutes. Commander, it has been an honor. Brianna returns the salute. Thank you, Master Chief. You saw what others missed. That saved this operation. Garrett's voice is low. Ma'am, I served 32 years. I thought I had seen every kind of warrior. But you fight a war nobody sees. You carry scars nobody salutes. That is the hardest kind. Brianna's eyes soften. Someone has to, Master Chief. Someone has to. Dylan approaches, hesitant. Commander, I am sorry. I laughed. I called you names in the group chat. I did not know. Brianna looks at him. You also pulled the logs that broke the case. You chose to do the right thing even when it was dangerous. That matters more than jokes. Dylan's eyes water. Thank you, ma'am. He salutes. Sloppy. Uncertain. Brianna returns it. Crisp. Professional. You have potential, Petty Officer Chase. Do not waste it. Foster stands alone at the prosecutor's table. He looks at her, tries to speak, fails. Brianna walks over. Lieutenant Foster, He straightens. Ma'am, I have no excuse. I should have dug deeper. I should have questioned the evidence. I let my assumptions cloud my judgment. Brianna's voice is even. You did what you were trained to do. Build a case from the evidence presented. But now you have learned something. Evidence can be manipulated. People can be framed. Your job is not just to prosecute. It is to find the truth. Foster nods. I understand, ma'am. If there is anything I can do to help the investigation, I will do it. Pull Admiral Donovan's travel logs for the last 6 months. Cross-reference them with procurement approval dates. I want to see every time he was on base when a transfer happened. Foster grabs his tablet. On it now, ma'am. Brooks walks over. Commander, we need to debrief. There is a lot to unpack. Brianna nods. Give me 10 minutes. I need to check something. She walks out of the courtroom, down the red-lit hallway. To the IT control room. Dylan is already there, pulling data. His supervisor's laptop sits on the table, files open. Brianna looks at the screen. What did Ramirez copy? Dylan scrolls. Transfer logs, financial records, communication intercepts, basically everything that would implicate the officers involved. He was trying to delete it before the audit found it. Did he succeed? No, ma'am. I stopped the process at 73%. We still have enough to build the case. Good. Brianna points at another window. What is that? Dylan clicks. It is the ghost account, the one that triggered the lockdown. Ramirez set it up 2 years ago. It has root access to the legacy system. He has been using it to cover tracks whenever someone got too close to the truth. Can you trace where he sent the copied files? Dylan types. The files were being uploaded to an encrypted server, offshore, registered in the Cayman Islands. The server is owned by a shell company called Sentinel Holdings. Brianna's eyes narrow. Sentinel? That is new. Dylan pulls up more data. Sentinel Holdings has contracts with 3 private military companies. One of them is Ironclad Solutions. The others are Black Ridge Security and Titan Logistics, all PMCs, all operating in conflict zones. Brianna leans closer. Who owns Sentinel? Dylan shakes his head. It is buried under 6 layers of shell companies. It will take weeks to unravel. Brianna straightens. Keep digging. I want to know who is at the top of this chain. Yes, ma'am. She walks out, moves through the hallway. Officers stare, some nod, some salute. She returns each one. She reaches the exit. The lockdown has been lifted. Doors unlocked. Afternoon sun pours through the windows. Outside, a black SUV pulls up. 2 NCIS agents step out. Between them, hands cuffed, is Admiral Donovan. His face is stone. No fear, no anger, just cold calculation. Brooks walks him toward the building entrance. He sees Brianna standing there. He stops, looks at her. Commander Anderson, or should I say Secretary Anderson, you played your role well. Brianna's voice is calm. Admiral Donovan, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, unauthorized transfer of military property, and violations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 104, aiding the enemy, Article 132, fraud against the United States, Article 106 Alpha, espionage. Donovan's jaw tightens. You think you have won? You have no idea what you just stepped into. Brianna steps closer. I know exactly what I stepped into. A network of corrupt officers selling weapons to the highest bidder. A system designed to move military property off the books and into private hands. A conspiracy that got 3 SEALs killed in Syria when their convoy route was sold to the enemy. Donovan's face does not change. You cannot prove that. Brianna pulls a phone from her pocket. Donovan's eyes widen. That is his burner phone, the one he thought he left in his office. She holds it up. You know when you bumped into me this morning, right before the hearing started, in the hallway outside the courtroom? You thought I was just a clumsy secretary who got in your way. Brianna almost smiles. I have very fast hands, Admiral. Comes with the training. Donovan's face goes pale. Brianna hands the phone to Brooks. Forensics will find everything on there. Messages to Anchor 7, transfer coordinates, payment confirmations, all of it. Brooks takes the phone. Admiral Donovan, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed for you. She nods to the agents. They lead Donovan inside. He does not look back. Garrett steps beside Brianna. That was satisfying. Brianna watches Donovan disappear into the building. It is not over. He is one piece. There are others. How many? Brianna's voice is quiet, enough to make this war last a while. Off duty, many veterans struggle to turn years of service into financial stability. Fortunately, veteran-focused financial planning services now exist, designed specifically to help service members transition from active duty to secure long-term futures, because those who protect the country deserve to protect their own futures as well. 2 weeks later, Brianna walks through the logistics office. Gray blazer, hair pulled back. She carries folders. To anyone watching, she is still the admin secretary, but now, when she passes officers, they step aside. Some nod. A few salute when no one else is looking. She reaches her desk, small, tucked in a corner. She pours coffee. Black. Dylan appears with donuts. "Ma'am, I brought these, as an apology. For everything." Brianna takes one. "Thank you, Petty Officer Chase. I also finished tracing Sentinel Holdings. It connects to 12 shell companies, all registered in different countries. The ownership chain leads to 3 individuals, 2 retired generals, 1 former Pentagon procurement officer. All 3 now work as consultants for private military companies. Send the report to Agent Brooks. She will coordinate with the Inspector General." "Already done, ma'am." Dylan hesitates. "Commander, can I ask you something? Why did you come back? After they forced you out? After they destroyed your reputation? You could have walked away." Brianna looks at him. "Because walking away means the people who got those 3 SEALs killed would have won. Someone had to stop them, and I was the only one who knew the system well enough to do it." Dylan nods. He salutes. "Thank you, ma'am, for everything. Get back to work, Chase. We have more ghosts to hunt." He leaves. Foster appears. He looks thinner, older, like he aged 5 years in 2 weeks. "Commander, do you have a moment?" Brianna gestures to the chair. "Sit." "Ma'am, I pulled Admiral Donovan's travel logs, cross-referenced with procurement dates. He was on base for every single transfer. Plus, I found something else. He made 16 trips to Washington, D.C. over the last year. Every time, he met with the same lobbying firm. Kepler and Associates." Brianna's eyes narrow. "Kepler and Associates represents Ironclad Solutions, among others." "Exactly." Foster slides a folder across. "I also found emails. Donovan was coordinating with 2 other flag officers, a Marine Corps general and a Coast Guard admiral. Both have access to procurement systems in their branches." Brianna opens the folder. "Good work, Lieutenant. Send this to Colonel Wu. This is Inspector General territory now." Foster nods. "Ma'am, I also wanted to say, I am sorry. Not just for the trial, for how I treated you. The jokes, the group chat, the memes. I was cruel, and I was wrong." Brianna looks at him. "You were doing your job. You just did not have all the facts." Foster's voice shakes. "I should have questioned the evidence more carefully. I let my ego get in the way." She meets his eyes. "Lieutenant, you made a mistake. You owned it. You are working to fix it. That is what matters. Learn from this. Be better." He salutes. "Thank you, ma'am. If you need anything else for the investigation, I am at your service." She returns the salute. "I will let you know." He leaves. Brianna finishes her coffee, grabs her jacket, walks out. In the parking lot, Master Chief Garrett waits by his truck. "Commander, Master Chief," he walks over. "What you did was more than a job. You let people tear you down, insult you. Also, you could catch the people who were killing our own. That is sacrifice. That is honor." He salutes. "Welcome home, Commander. We never forgot what you did for us, and we never will." Her eyes are wet. "Just a little. Thank you, Master Chief. That means more than you know. If you ever need anything, you call," I answer. She smiles. "I will remember that." He drives away. Brianna gets in her old Honda Civic, drives home. Her apartment is small. 1 bedroom, a desk with a laptop. She sits, opens it. 1 new email. No sender, just a photo attachment. The JAG building. Brianna walking up the steps. Morning of the trial. Bottom corner, an anchor symbol. The number 7. 1 word. Sentinel. She opens another folder. Anchor 7 investigation, phase 2. Dozens of files. Surveillance photos, financial records, a map, red dots, Washington, D.C., Norfolk, San Diego, Jacksonville, Pearl Harbor, lines connecting them. A web. Another email arrives. Vice Admiral Cortez. Commander Anderson, we have movement on Sentinel Holdings. Possible connections to Pentagon procurement offices and foreign intelligence services. Financial transactions traced to accounts in Russia and China. This is bigger than we thought. Advise operational status. Brianna replies. 2 words. Active, ready to hunt. She closes the laptop, walks to the window. The sun has set. City lights glow. Somewhere out there, Anchor 7 is planning their next move. Somewhere, officers are still selling weapons. Somewhere, people are still getting killed. But Brianna is patient. She has been hunting ghosts for 2 years. She can hunt for 2 more, or 10, or however long it takes. If you believe that quiet professionals like Commander Brianna Anderson deserve more stories, share this with someone who respects the people who serve in silence. There are more ghosts to hunt, and more stories to tell. She checks her phone, a text, unknown number, Tower 4 sends regards. Anchor 7 is watching. See you soon. She deletes it, smiles in the dark. Let them watch. Let them think they are hunting her. They have no idea who they are dealing with. She closes her eyes, breathes steady, 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out. And in the silence, she whispers the words that will carry her through the next phase, the next hunt, the next war. Justice is not loud, it is patient. And tonight, we start again.
The stories end here, but the journey continues. Many new episodes are waiting for you. And if you enjoy, please take a moment to like, subscribe to our EV Story channel, and turn on the bell. See you in the next story.